A long journey, almost complete. Higher highs, lower lows, and every moment in between. Now, at the edge of the final chapter, we push deeper than ever. This is where machinery meets madness, where engineering sorcery mixes with the driver who refuses to lift. Titans have fallen, mountains have been conquered, records have been shattered, and now only the toughest challenge remains. I'm CD Racing, and this is the finale of our Dirt Rally 2 career. Let's get it! Hello everyone, CD Racing here, and welcome in for the beginning of the end, the final season of our Dirt Rally 2 career mode. Hardest difficulty possible, longest rally you could possibly do. I'm ready for it, and if you're hyped for it as well, lock in. We're heading straight in. Just kidding. Preparations have to be made in order to get ready for the season, but first things first, what are we driving? This monster right here. The Peugeot 306 Maxi, 280 horsepower of front-wheel drive madness. And you might hear front-wheel drive and go, ew, gross. You've never seen this thing race. Trust me. We're going to lock it in. We're going to go as fast as we can. And to do that, we're going to need a little help. We're going to go ahead and give every single one of our engineers a crash course in front-wheel drive knowledge to make sure that we are as prepared as we can be for this season ahead. Now, we're not going to watch every single one of this. We're going to go ahead and load straight into Germany, start the season off strong. I will see you there. Let's go ahead and take a look at this championship. Starting in Germany, starting strong, 1.5 million. If we win it all, you know that's what we're going for. Now, this is a hard calendar. If we take a look at it, it's only 6 rallies, starting in Germany, then Poland, Australia into Monaco, then Scotland, finishing it in Finland. What a roller coaster of a calendar for our last season. Now, obviously, we've already spoken about what we're going to tackle it in, but just quick highlights. Almost 300 horsepower, barely over 2,000 pounds, 6-speed sequential. It's a beast, man. It's going to be an absolute blast dialing this thing in. Now, it's not going to be the easiest season. Like I said, this is the hardest difficulty available in career mode. And for those of you that don't remember Germany, take a look. By far, the best tarmac rally in the game. If you don't agree, I don't care. I think Germany is the best. It's definitely the most competitive. Leaderboard times here are absolutely ridiculous. We're not chasing those today. We're chasing victory against the AI. Quick little shakedown to get used to the car, but that's after we look over the weekend. And there she is. It's a long one. The rallies get longer for every new season you enter, and we now have 12 stages per rally. Now, I'll speak a little bit more about this at the end of the video, but we're going to cut out some of these stages, especially because some of them repeat. You don't need to watch the same stage twice, but we're going to cut out a couple. As far as how many we cut out for future episodes, we'll talk about that at the end. But for now, I want to get to racing. And the first 2 stages, this one's on me, I forgot to record. Well, OBS messed up, a little my fault, a little bit of technical difficulties. Anyways, the first 2 stages, not recorded for whatever reason. So we're going to go ahead and go through the shakedown, get a taste for the stage, and hop back on stage 3. But for the shakedown, launching the car immediately, and look at the wheel spin. Yeah, front-wheel drive cars tend to launch a little hard, but this thing, even all the way into 3rd gear, can wheel spin if you're not careful. So getting used to this thing as you slam it through the gears, oh my goodness. Yeah, getting used to this thing is going to be a trip. It may be front-wheel drive, but it really doesn't drive like it. This thing's ability to just grip, especially on the tarmac, is absolutely absurd. Now, one thing that I forgot to do is purchase the ability to tune the car. Ideally, if we could have really tweaked with the suspension, slammed this thing to the ground, and just gone maximum grip build, we could have been even more dominant. Now, did I remember to do that? No, I did not, unfortunately. So we're going into this entire weekend on the hardest difficulty with the vanilla tune, and we're going to try our best to make it work. But I think the results that we're able to achieve go to show how insane this car is, and maybe, you know, how cracked I am as a driver. It could be either one. But getting to the end of the stage, less than a minute, it was quick. Not able to really highlight what was going on there because we had to talk about the preset for the weekend, but we got plenty of stages to talk get ready to lock in for the week. I will see you at stage 3.
Starts 50, 6 left of a crest, 80, 5 right of a crest. Good luck. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 56 left of a crest, 80, 5 right of a crest into deceptive, 4 left, 2 right of a crest long. To flat middle of a jump, 50, 6 left of a dip, 200, turn unseen, hairpin left, opens 120, 6 right of a crest long, 250, unseen, hairpin left, into open hairpin right, uphill, 100, don't cut, 5 right, into 4 left long, opens, slow 4 right of a crest bump, into unseen hairpin left, into hairpin right, opens, 50, 4 right, very long, tightens, don't cut, into 4 left, extra long, tightens 3, into 4 right of a crest long, tightens, into 5 left, into 4 right, tightens, 60 over crest, 6 left, 50, turn hairpin right, caution, don't cut, into turn, open hairpin left, 120 over crest, turn square right, opens over crest, 200, keep right, into turn 4 left, opens flat over crest, into caution, keep right over crest, into don't cut 4 left long, tightens 3, tightens, to keep right over 50, 6 left, 100, 4 right, tightens over crest, 120, turn 3 right, tightens, into don't cut, 4 left, very long, opens over crest, 100, turn 4 right, don't cut, into turn 1 left, 200, don't cut, 4 right long, slow 30, turn unseen square left, opens over crest, uphill, into 5 left long, into 5 right long, tightens 3, don't cut, opens 100, 4 left, tightens over bumps, 50, 50 over finish, square left, to stop.
All right, so welcome to Germany in the new car. It's absolutely rapid. Germany's a quick rally, but man, this thing hauls, especially when you get it dialed in. 4-second victory over everyone in that stage.
Good, but let's check the times.
Almost haunted by that name. Co-driver telling us to check the times. That's why. N. McCain. Look at the difference. 830 to 881. The margins are tight. And yes, because we didn't get to see his time, you guessed it, we are not currently winning this rally. At the end of stage 3, the margins are tight and we are in 3rd place. Now, we're obviously going to keep it rocking and try to improve, but the AI is not playing around this season. That was a pretty quick stage by us, minimal errors, and we still lost, albeit by just a little bit, but that just goes to show you, we got to be on our absolute A game this time around. Let's go ahead and lock in. First time with commentary. Let's see how we do for this sprint. All right, loading in. M. Lopez, 334, current stage leader. Let's see how we do here. Keep the revs low. We are on tarmac, and I mentioned a couple times when you just drop the clutch on tarmac in this game, you can just absolutely shred your diff, and we don't want to do that. So going down to this hairpin here, now that we're up to speed, just bring it in. Now, notes for how we're driving this weekend before we just lock straight into the stages. we are on tarmac in a front-wheel drive vehicle. Our biggest enemy is understeer. So mid-corner adjustments and entry speed into low-speed corners are the biggest things that we need to watch out for that will take us out. Right here, to left, hard on the brakes, lock them up. Try to force too much steering angle while heavily on the brakes. Locked up the fronts, almost slid off. Now, luckily, we had slowed down enough as we get a little sketchy over that transition there. But that's exactly what I'm talking about, and you will, unfortunately, see it happen quite a few times this weekend, just like that. When you come in too hot to these corners and you lock up the fronts, it's the only thing dictating everything happening with the car. Front-wheel drives are not the greatest racing, as you can see. And when you are struggling to get the car slowed down, you have to pay so much attention to what is happening with the front wheels, avoiding lockups and back-to-back corners right now. We can just not get this car tuned in. Now, I unfortunately have to say all of this is driver error, because when I say the front-wheel drive isn't the best racing, it isn't. The ceiling is kind of low compared to other layouts. However, don't let that fool you that front-wheel drive vehicles cannot be incredibly quick, especially on tarmac rallies. You get these things low to the ground, tight suspension, you really can throw them around, as you'll see when we get this thing tuned in. And the first stage, we were pretty locked in for that one. But right now, this is a great example of the biggest drawbacks of front-wheel drive, which is a great way to talk about the one challenge we're going to face this season realistically. Like I said, entry speed into low-speed corners. If we get locked up, it's really hard to get the car turned in, and on a rally that has a cliff on the outside instead of just grass, that's going to be a lot worse. And then, like I said, high-speed sections, when you just understeer just that little bit, you're going to have a really trained left foot to get a little bit of braking in to rotate the front end of that car around. However, when you get all of that done and get it dialed in, these things can be incredibly quick. And as we lock in for a little bit less than the second half of the stage, let's see what happens when we finally apply this. So slow 6 left over crest into 2 right, don't cut narrow. So hard on the brakes, watch your entrance, and then make sure that you're letting off the brakes as you're starting to initiate that turning angle. It's called string theory. For those of you that are unfamiliar with it, imagine there's a string tied from the bottom of the steering wheel to your big toe, and you cannot move the steering wheel X amount without having to lift your foot. If you can visualize that, you won't do stuff like this, because once again, under braking, have not gotten it dialed in. Now, that was less of a string theory mess up and more of me just really misjudging my braking zone, but it's always something to keep in mind. It's always something you can improve, and right now we have a clear objective of what we need to work on to get this car dialed in, not for just this rally, but for the rest of the season. This might actually have been the best way to start the calendar, because Germany is a very forgiving rally, except for a few places where there could be some pretty bad damage. It forgives you a lot if you go off. So for us to get used to the car, great rally, trying our best to get tuned in with how long it takes to get this thing slowed down, and we haven't really had any issues with the high-speed corners just yet. So as we wrap up stage 4, plenty learned. I hope y'all understand our problems with the car now, and you can watch them as we drive. And for all the times that we messed up there, only 3.3 behind the stage leader is not bad, but we are in 3rd, so we'll see where we actually finished.
That stage was tough, but it felt fast.
All right, so not the most promising message in terms of where we finished, but we did finish 6th. Okay, given how many times we almost sent it into a barrier that stage, I think that we'll take that. Minor body damage from we had that really bad missed braking point. I think we took out one of the signs, so not major damage to the car at all. Definitely better than what we were used to in the Impreza, and still only 7 seconds behind 2nd place. Totally doable. As we load into stage 5, it's a big one, which is exactly why I have the confidence that we can bring this time back up. 6.65 miles, definitely longer than anything we've tackled. Some of these stages are segments that we've already done. Some of it's going to be brand new. All of it is longer than anything we've tackled this weekend. So because of that, and because of the following stages, we are going to throw on the medium tires. You see right here, 6.65 miles into 7.25 miles. By far the longest stages we've tackled this weekend, and they're back to back. So playing it safe, as the softs are a little worn after 2 short ones, I think that the mediums are a safe bet as we go into this stage, because here on tarmac, we are really pushing these tires. We are really flexing the grip limits of these tires as we go through the stages. So loading into the first long one, let's see how we do.
Start 60 over crest, turn unseen, square left, don't cut.
All right, we got a long one ahead of us. It's going to go by pretty quick given the pace of these cars, but that does not mean that the intensity and the required skill is not there. As we launch from a low revs, once again, ease it onto the throttle until the wheel stops spinning and then put your pedal to the metal straight into the square left. 280. Now, calls like that are very common here in Germany. A lot of places where you have a lot of open ground in front of you and then you have to go hard into the braking zone for a hairpin. Now, back in my old days, I would have grabbed handbrake there all day, every day. But I've noticed for the sake of keeping the tires alive and for consistency, trying to maintain grip as long as you can in an asphalt rally is the way to go. I will say, watching Gymkhana videos as a kid and watching Ken Block do a bunch of crazy shit, it definitely ruined my mentality of how driving should be done. Not saying that Ken wasn't great, but his style was not the most consistent or quick when it comes to things like this. So, back on tarmac rallies, trying to keep grip in low-speed sections. See right here, try not to lock the brakes, get it turned in, and then you don't want to be hearing the squealing as you're turning in. Now, Dirt Rally 2's asphalt physics are not the greatest, so if you hear your tires screech every now and then, but it feels like you've got grip, do what you feel, not what you hear. But ideally, you want to maintain the grip limits. Don't make the tires squeal as often as you can. Keep that grip so it's consistent to just power out in these low-speed situations. Right? You see right here, I'm actually keeping it in second because first gear in this car is so short that if I were to give it any throttle at any point trying to exit these turns without just crawling, I'm going to be spinning wheels all day. So you're going to see me keep it in second gear for a lot of these low-speed sections and then just straighten out the wheel and power out as soon as I can. It's kind of similar to track racing because here in rally, I've mentioned it many times, you are not going to be looking at the quote-unquote racing line. You just want to get through the corner as fast as you can. Now, there are techniques. You'll see professionals take the corner similarly, but not exactly the same way. Once you get back onto asphalt rallies, the racing line comes back just a little bit, but it's ever-changing. You have to interpret the calls from your co-driver and visualize the image of a racing line and take it as well as you can. You see right here, tight hairpin left, enter from the outside, try and touch that inside, and then get back to the outside, straighten the wheel out, power out as early as you can, just like you would on a track. And these are the things that you want to keep in mind here in the tarmac rallies, and you might want to listen to me, because at the moment, we're doing okay. 5 right to 6 left 80 as we get a little look at the timing boards. On the left-hand side, we are leading, but that sector was actually slower than the AI. We are 2.2 seconds ahead of the stage leader right now, which with the current difficulty is a pretty good gap for us to have. We are going to try and keep this pace as long as we can into these two lefts, 30 hairpin left. So straighten the car out under braking, get it turned into that hairpin. I should have said try to get it turned in. Massive understand there. Narrow 3 right tightens into hairpin right. So watch your braking. Again, try and find somewhere to brake in a straight line as possible. Not going to happen. Grabbing handbrake in the rear end, turn around so that we can actually make that corner and then power out. So just went on a huge rant about keeping grip as long as you can. But if you feel like you are not going to make that corner, but you are slowing down, grab some of that handbrake. Just make sure you're already turning the right way. The rear end will slide around, catch it, power out. That is a good way to save yourself. If you watch Initial D and watch Shingo do his Shingo tactics, where he grabbed the handbrake 30 times while he was drawing, you're not going to be doing any of that. But to negate understeer in a front-wheel drive vehicle, if you want to grab handbrake for just a little bit, it will help you get that car turned in. And now, this part should look familiar, but that action was not. Yeah. First big accident of the stage. What happened? Under braking. Tried to get the wheel straightened out to not lock up. Inputted too much brake way too early. Ended up locking up anyways. Car just drifted into that rock. Luckily, I don't believe we've come away with any major damage as again we start to understeer. So maybe I should take that back. Perhaps our wheel geometries in the rear is messed up. And now that we look at those low speed corners, I think that's exactly what's going on here. I think our rear right, the geometry of that wheel is severely thrown off because it's starting to feel a little weird. You see me shaking the steering wheel as I'm trying to get it turned in for these low-speed sections. The car is all chueco. It's trying to go to the right. It really is. We're going to have to deal with that for the rest of the stage. Down in 10th place at the moment. 5.2 seconds behind the stage leader now after that incident. Square right opens 140. A little bit of a straight line to relieve us of some of the pain, but even then, struggling to keep it on the stage in the early goings here. 6 left 50 into 100, so watch your braking in the 50. It's all going wrong at the moment. None of it's severe. The back-to-back minor mistakes are keeping our times back from where they should be. Now, being mindful there to brake before the jump. You saw a little dip in the road. all he did was call square right. But because there was such a massive dip in the road, I had to hit the brakes early because, in case you didn't know, if you hit the brakes midair, nothing happens. So those are always things that you got to be thinking about. It's never the exact same approach, even if the calls are the same. If it's 50 into square right, but one of them is a downhill and one of them is an uphill, you're still going to take that corner very differently. So it's ever changing, and I'm going to highlight this a million times every time I play a rally game. You have to listen to the calls and pay attention to the stage in front of you, because with both of those, you can achieve ridiculous times. But with just one, it will never work in your favor. If you trust the calls 100% how they should be taken and don't really care about the stage, you might send it into a tree. And if you don't listen to the calls, you're not going anywhere. As we get through the latter end of this stage, after the unfortunate incident, we're going to see how far behind the AI we are. At the moment, 4.7 behind just the stage leader. Potential to dip into 4th place in the overall event here, but you'll notice I'm not sad. I'm going into this one knowing it's a long one. My spirits were down after the second rally of last season because we had back-to-back rough starts and we came back and won it anyways. So every race is different. The championship isn't over until it's over, and we still got a long ways to go in just this one. And another reason I'm so happy, that is a green sector. If you look at the timing map on the left-hand side, we were quickest out of anyone over the course of that sector. I believe, even though we're racing the stage leader, I think the track map on the left-hand side tracks everyone. So we have had a couple splits here that look pretty good as we go back into a pretty tight and technical section here. 6 left into 50, seen unseen, don't cut square left. So all the way to the right-hand side of the stage here. Flick it in, but not too close to the inside. That's why that don't cut call came in and over the line. 5 seconds behind the stage leader. Given the magnitude of the accident that we get, and we're going to get a third person of that in a second here.
How did the car feel
That's
in that
not
stage?
bad. 5 seconds
to make any
after
setup
what happened
changes
to our
at the
car,
next
and man,
service?
she looks rough. We will take that. And so 6th overall, actually only losing to one other person, I believe, if my math is correct. But ew, S. Bernard is back in the standings. 5th place in this rally. N. McCain and D. Yee still up in 1st. And let's go ahead and get a third-person angle, because I'm not ashamed to showcase when I mess up. Let's see exactly what happened here. Coming in high speed, remember we're in a front-wheel drive car. Tried to straighten out under braking too early. Understeered out. And I didn't even see this happen in real time. But poor P. Mills almost lost the passenger side door. Definitely not ideal, but lucky to come away with minimal damage. But we do have to do this stage, Frauenberg, with that damage. Now, I mentioned that the wheel geometry feels a little off. We'll just see what we can do about that, if I'm being completely honest. Another long one, longer than the last stage. S. Bernard, gross. 622 is the stage leader. Now it's personal. We're going to win this one. Ignore me pausing it. A dog came into my room. Not even my dog. Not even lying to you. A dog came into my room at this moment in time. So if we get to the end of that crisis, lock in, make it personal. S. Bernard cannot win a stage if I have anything to say about it. Launch the car hard, but not too hard. Again, we are still on asphalt. 200 into 30 into 5 right. Now, you might ask yourself, why did they just not say 230 into 5 right? They will call a distance before some sort of change in direction. 9 times out of 10, it's to tell you, hey, you should probably slow down during that time. 5 right opens 120. When you hear opens on anything bigger than a 4, you can take it pretty quick because the track is going to open up for you. So if you come in aggressively on the inside, let the track open up for you, you can carry a lot of speed. And you see how much we kept throughout that section right there. And you can also tell I am pushing hard, extending the limits of this track so that I can stay in the power band as long as possible. We want to win this stage. One of my favorite stages in the game, if I must say. Oh my God! Was that a deer? Well, thank God I wore the brown pants to the rally today, because that is us taking avoidant action on a deer at 125 miles an hour after landing a jump. Miraculously, and if I might toot my own horn, coming away completely unscathed there. But my God, you want to talk about a test of reaction times. That is it right there. Trying our best to continue through with the stage. We got to stay locked in at all times. 5 left into 50, watch your speed into 4 right. Now, when there are high-speed sections and changing directions, so like a left into a right or vice versa, especially with a crest involved, you really need to make sure that you've got your throttle control balanced, or that you don't try to initiate a direction change over a crest, because you will uncenter the car terribly, and trying to catch that in any sort of quick fashion ain't gonna happen. So make sure that you keep an eye out for that. And apparently for wildlife, anytime you're out on a stage. And as we really lock back in here, 6 left into 150. Watch your speed here, because we got a don't cut 1 left. So hard on the brakes here. He says don't cut because of that stone stick right there. If you hit that, you are gonna have a bad day. 130 into 5 right, don't cut 40. 4 right, don't cut into 40. Square left, don't cut. That's a complicated series of calls, but I was only able to take them carefully because I took it one at a time. One thing that I did a lot when I first got into rally was only really pay attention to the last call that I heard. It was maybe the only one that registered because I was new, or maybe it was the only one I paid attention to, but I would very often crash in the setup to the last corner that I heard. So right here, 2 right narrows. Because he says narrows, I slow down a lot more than I usually do, because if I had kept a lot more speed, I'm going to drift out wide. I'm going to end up crashing into a tree. But every little piece of the puzzle matters when you're finishing a rally stage. I've said this a million times, and I will say it again. In order to finish first you must finish. And only when you pay attention to everything your co-driver says can you get there. And as we get to almost the halfway point of the stage, our pace is very strong. We have greened every single sector so far. 4 right opens 120 into 1 left don't cut. So again, touching back on what I said at the beginning of the stage, he said 120 into 1 left don't cut. He didn't have to say that, but it lets me know I've got that much time to slow down, proceed accordingly. And then in these chicanes, can't really tell you any tips here. You just got to throw it in and make sure you don't hit anything, which is easier said than done when you're really trying to get these cars thrown in. But this is a high grip front wheel drive car. As long as the front wheel's clear, we're going to be fine. And that's exactly how I approach it. And you can still tell we are pushing this car to the absolute max. I'm using all of the stage here, trying to find something similar to a literal racing line as you would on track. 6 left opens and tightens, don't cut 2 left. Into 3 right closes. So this is an interesting sequence right here. And again, listening to every call allows you to maximize the stage. You see, I'm going to cut all the way to the left, cut in through the right here. Could have gotten on the power earlier there, but I was actually a little worried about hitting that inside there. And again, you might say I'm min-maxing, but we're on the hardest difficulty now. I am going to be second guessing and analyzing every tenth that I lost, because you never know when you can make it back up. A little S accession there into a high-speed corner. Now watch this section right here. Sweeping corner into a 4 left. We're going to stay in quick tap of the brakes, throw it in with the downshift, and look at the margins. We are pushing this car right now, really pushing it to the max. Any second, we could be facing a terminal damage crash, but we don't care. We got to get to the top of the podium and set a statement early. 6 left into 4 right, don't cut. 4 right, nah, we don't lift for those. Send it through that corner. And this is the exact moment where I said, yeah, I think I'm starting to understand how this car works. This entire stage, everything kind of just clicked. Maybe it was just genuine anger at S. Bernard succeeding, or maybe it really did take me a while to really get used to this car, especially with no asphalt-specific tune, which I know held me back a little bit. We have got this car dialed in. Over the course of a longer stage, on the hardest difficulty, only losing 2 splits at the second is pretty good. And we are going to take that all the way to the bank as we go into another complicated forest section here. Let's see how we tackle it. 2 right, caution, opens, then tightens. This is a long one because it opens, tightens right here. That second tightening comes so far after, you might second guess that call and drift out wide. Again, always trust them for a reason. We've got consecutive hairpins right here. We're going to try our best to grip in the downhill, getting the car slowed down, proving to be the harder part here, and we don't want to absolutely torch these tires, even though we are almost done with this sector. We're going to try and get through this forest section, really pushing the boundaries here. And the craziest part is I've highlighted how quick the pace is right now. 1, I am a little proud, right? I was going pretty quick with this run. But 2, we are only 2.5 seconds ahead of the stage leader. Not even whoever ended up getting this the quickest. So the difficulty this career season, it's going to be through the roof. It might be borderline ridiculous by the time we get to the dirt, but getting to the end of this long one, it looks like we managed to have the quicker run. One more tricky section ahead of us. Unseen one left over the jump that they do not call. So I'm gonna get on the brakes preemptively because I've driven here before. Slow that car down in that section that you have. Again, using all of the stage available to me and crossing the line 2.8 seconds clear of S. Bernard. That's how it's done, Frenchie. And as we get to the end here, wait for confirmation to see if we did manage to beat everyone else.
That stage was tough, but it felt fast.
Aw, man, that means we didn't win. But we'll see where we finish compared to everyone else. Okay, so 6-12. Oh my god, I'm gonna lose. Anyways, despite the fact that N. McCain is apparently Jesus himself in a rally car, let's go ahead and see what happened with that deer. I don't remember if the replay gave us the best image of what happened, but we come over the jump. You can't even see it in the replay. Aw, that's disappointing, but loading into the next service station here, Oberstein, 7.25 miles. Now, this is the same stage that we just did backwards, so you better believe that we're still going to do it because this is my favorite stage in the game, and I'm excited to do a run of the commentary on this one, mainly because of the big jump. But we also have some damage to fix before we get out there, pretty standard body damage and wheel geometry damage from that impact with the rock, which is to be expected, but repairs this season cheaper than last season. $7,400 to get that taken care of. Not that bad as far as race car repairs, though. So we're going to go ahead and do this one. We're going to skip stage 8 and 9, as we have done some sort of variant of those already, and it saves us quite a bit of time of episode because these don't need to be an hour and a half long. So let's see how this stage goes. We did just do this stage, but this is the longer version backwards, starting with the uphill of the forest section. Let's see how we tackle it. All right, getting the revs ready. Again, we're going to hold them pretty low and ease it off the line. And then once we've got our speed up, dump that throttle all the way down, we've got the grip to do it. 5 right into 4 left, 2 right over crest long. So watch your entry angle here. Make sure you're slowed down. Don't unsettle the car over the crest. Crest jump into 56 left into dip. Watch your car over the dip. 200 means we're probably going to get towards the top of 6th here and then have to slam it down for this closing down section. Now this is the section that we did on the very first run. There was no commentary with those little third-person angles. But now we get to narrate it. And I will say, this forest section is very intense on the uphill because you can push those braking zones so far to the end because gravity helps you so much getting the car slowed down. You see me just send it into these sections in second gear, almost towards the top. And then again, getting on the power super early. The gravity helps the car be a bit more planted. It doesn't take nearly as long to slow down, which very much so helps. 4 right into hairpin left. Again, watch your angle here. We're going to go all the way from the left-hand side to the right. Try to break in a straight line. Get it turned in, and the tires are screeching. Not the cleanest we could have got in there, but definitely very quick. 4 right, don't cut into 4 left, and then watch your angle here. Rocks on the inside here. 4 left, tightens 3. Slow the car down. Taking a second to do that, and again, I'm trying not to kill these tires by just yanking the steering wheel when we need to, but you can only get so much done before the tires give way. So 4 right tightens on a downhill. Watch your speed. Be very careful. I will point out, elevation changes during or before your calls play a big part in how you approach them. I know I've already spoken today about how you should pay attention to the stage in front of you when the calls come in, but I want to give you as many examples as I can so that you can really visualize that. So right there, when he says 4 right tightens, we can usually keep a little bit of speed there, but I slow it down quite a bit because it's on a downhill and we need to be careful with our momentum. But here, 4 left on an uphill, didn't even lift, just throw the car in there. And those are technically the same severity of corners taken 2 very different ways because of the following stage and the elevation that was present during taking it. So like I said, rally calls are not an end-all be-all, you know exactly what you're going to do thing. It's simply a guide, and we thankfully have driven this stage many a times and are dialed in with the car right now because we are hauling at this moment. Watch your speed into the 4 right, don't cut into 1 left, so we know we're going to have to really close it down. Just slowly move it in there through the S section and then get back on your power as soon as you can. 4 right, don't cut into 30, unseen square left. So that 30 is our braking zone. I got a little bit of brake done while we were still turning and then easing on when we straightened it out. That's ideally how you want to take that right there. Get a little bit of braking pressure while you're turning in to help the car get rotated, and then as soon as you straighten it out, flatten that brake pedal as much as you can, because when the car is straight is the only time you're going to get some real momentum loss done without locking up those wheels. And it's all about the balance. It's all about finding the maximum during those direction changes. During the first couple seasons of our rally playthrough, I was breaking down what the calls meant, what weight transfer is. Now we're getting into the advanced stuff. Now we're getting into trail braking. Now we're getting into constant weight transfer and keeping track of exactly where the weight is of your car. You see right here, having to let off the brakes whenever I want to flick it in so that we don't have any lag on the front hand side. Because like I've said, we are driving a front wheel drive car. Super tight corners like that, wherever the front wheels go is where the car is going, and you got to make sure that you've got all the available force to throw that car in. So no braking at all when we're throwing this thing in here. And then right here is just easing off the brake pedal back onto the power, getting all of the stage available to us, just putting your foot to the floor. Watch the one left here, and again, trail braking into here, find your balance, and then power out as soon as you can. And right there, I was actually too ambitious on the throttle. In second gear, mashed it as soon as I straightened out the wheel, had a little bit of wheel spin going. So you have to find the limits and balance with the car as you're driving it. It's controlled chaos. It really is. From the inside of the car, it's chaos. You're throwing everything, you're banging the gears, your feet are going a million miles an hour trying to keep the track as rotated where you want it to be. And now, from the outside, it looks planted. It just looks like you're driving. You see all these replay angles. It doesn't look like we're just twitching all over the place. You don't see the car shaking back and forth as we balance off the throttle and brake. All of that is done inside the car, so that from the outside, it looks super smooth, like everything is calm and collected. But just know, especially at high levels of rally, things get wild. You have a lot to pay attention to, and if you want to min-max every single run, you got to be thinking about everything. 120 into hairpin right, hard on the brakes. A little bit of a bumpy section is going to unsettle the car. Grab some handbrake to force that car to get turned in and power out as early as possible. And now back into the high-speed sections. Consecutive sixes into a 4 right long, tightens 3 don't cut. So hard on the brakes real quick. It's going to tighten up. Don't cut. Power back on 5 left 100 into 5 right 100 again. High-speed sections here, and we talked about switching directions in the high-speed sections with crests, balancing on the throttle. You notice I didn't stay full throttle there. I let off, and I still went a little bit wide. All about finding the maximum of what your car can do, and we are really pushing it right now as you're almost done with the stage. Closing it down one more time. Square left opens 200. Foot to the floor for the next 200 meters, and then an additional 80 meters into 6th left. 200 again. We are going to be top of 6th gear for what is definitely one of the bigger jumps in Dirt Rally 2. 3.6 seconds ahead, almost a second of airtime, maybe a little bit more. And then right here, 5 right. Watch your speed just a little bit going to the outside of the stage. Break in a straight line, get it turned in. Low grip on the cobblestone. We're going to manage it A-okay. Managing to get the car slowed down in a decent fashion there. Again over the cobblestones. Open up 120 into 6 left long, 70. High speed all the way to the end here. We won't call it out. We're just going to see what happens. Foot to the floor the entire rest of the way. 100 into 5 right closes, 5 left opens. There's a lot going on as we send it over this finish, and that was one hell of a stage on our end. 3.7 second victory over the current stage leader. We'll see how we matched up to everyone else, but that one felt rapid.
That stage was tough, but it felt fast.
All right, so I think that means that we didn't win the stage, but we'll see how we matched up with everyone. And yes, 6'5". Oh my god, how does he do it? This guy might be a problem, and a fellow American, just to really dig the knife in. This guy has this vehicle absolutely dialed in, and I'm a little jealous. Minor brake wear on our car, to be expected. That's 2 back-to-back very high-speed, rapid stages. Actually, this is the first time we've touched it this weekend, and we're not going to go ahead and look at any replays. I'm sure you guys have seen this many times at this point. We're going to skip the next couple stages to get this video trimmed down just a little bit. So we'll let the middle section of this rally play out. We're going to hop on board for the last stage and set the precedent for how this rally is going to go. I will see you there. As we load into the end of the second to last stage, you see winner over the stage leader by 2/10. Very, very tight margins.
The tires are okay.
And up until this point, rally actually going pretty good for us. We managed to jump up the standings. You see right now, second over the stage, of course, losing to Ed McCain. He was just on one this weekend. But you'll notice, despite minor body damage, we are second actually in the standings with almost, what is that, a 20-second gap to S. Bernard? Scum. But all jokes aside, and my unnecessary hatred of S. Bernard, pretty solid weekend for us, starting on the hardest difficulty. I wonder if N. McCain is going to be the clear away winner, or if we're going to be fighting someone different every time. We'll see. But let's try and lock in second place at the end here. One last stage to go. Let's do this. Locking it in, getting ready. M. Lopez is the current leader for this stage. We're going to go ahead and hold our low revs as we have been all weekend and slow off the line and dump it when we're ready. Looks like we've got that down to a T at this point. 3 right opens over crest, so watch your entrance here. We know it opens, so we can send it in aggressively and it opens up for us. A little bit of hesitation there. I definitely could have kept a lot more speed, but again, at this point, I'm more focused on locking down second than making some miraculous minute comeback against N. McCain, because I didn't point out his times when we were going over it, but he is far clear of us at this point of the rally. He would have to basically retire for us to win by default, to have any realistic chance of winning this stage. So we're just going to go ahead and go at a quick but safe pace, lock in second place, because as I did point out, we have about a 20-second buffer to the person in third place, and that is what we like to hear. And S. Bernard, the person in third place, has not even shown up in the top 5 of this stage, so it looks like it's very doable. So let's just make this one routine as we can and lock it back in. And usually this is where I put the little unless part in my voice, but for once, when I needed things to go right, they did go right. You see me going through the stage right now, rarely going down into first gear. That was a very tight corner, but this one, it was smooth when we needed it to be. Perhaps 4 seasons of unfortunate incidents and things not going right when we need them to finally taught us to be truly patient when we need to, because this is a rapid pace nonetheless, but it's very controlled. You're not going to hear a lot of tire squealing. You're not going to see me fighting the wheel the entire time. It's very minimal movements. Get the car turned in, find your place, open out, and power out just like this. 240 over this straight line as we're going to get all the way towards the top of 6th gear into a 1 left Titan. So hard on the brakes. Watch your entrance here. 1 left Titan's on a downhill, so it's a really good thing we did. We got the car slowed down there, as I forget how English works for a second. Powering out here. 5 left over 50. Keep right into 1 left. Don't cut. Opens 30 or closes 30. So again, watch your speed. Titans right there. There was a don't cut call that we kind of ignored. Got a little unsettled throughout that corner. Not our best one, but track map on the left-hand side, you'll notice a sizable gap to the class leader. Looks like we are managing to keep this car pretty quick, despite the fact that this is definitely a more tame, calm effort. And maybe that was the point all along, huh? Maybe it's time to highlight the true lesson to be learned as we drive this car. Now, this particular part of the stage, ignore that. But for everything else, you can fight these cars as hard as you want. And especially on gravel and snow rallies, it's a lot harder to keep this principle. But if you can go for smooth, predictable movements, follow the fundamentals, pay attention to your weight transfer, and have patience and focus. Patience and focus, patience and focus. I'll say it 3 times so you know they are by far the most important things to bring with you to a rally stage, and it's showing right now. This stage, I was zen at the line. I really did admit there's probably a 0% chance we catch first. We can lock in second with a clean run. Just go out there and do what you do. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. And look at the track map on the left-hand side. Handedly winning the stage. Even after drastically overshooting that one corner, we are 4.2 ahead of the stage leader. And there's only one person who hasn't run after us. So we are clearing this field by a wide margin. Only when we finally lock in and just maximize smoothness. Really, I'll try and point it out as it happens here. For instance, right here, braking into the hairpin. Straighten the car out, ease off the brakes, get it turned in, power out early. Now, if I had grabbed handbrake there, it might have gone faster, it might not have, but I saved my tires, kept them at a stable temperature, and I know I'm going to make that corner every time. 6 right into Titan's hairpin right. Again, braking your straight line, get the car turned in, power out accordingly. It's smooth. It doesn't look that fast from inside the car, but I promise you on the replay, you're going through that corner pretty quick, and you don't really visualize 45 miles an hour as fast until you try to go around a telephone pole at 45 miles an hour in any other vehicle and realize even quote-unquote slow is pretty damn quick, and now we're genuinely fast. Well into the triple digits here. 6 right 30, caution, hairpin right. Watching our speed here, misjudging my distance hard. That is 100% on me. Overshooting that hairpin right there. We've got another one right here. Hairpin left. We'll see if we get this one a little bit better. Onto the brakes. Down into first gear. I haven't done that much this weekend, but I've been slowing down so much for these corners. First almost felt a little necessary. And again, I'm just not really pushing the car at this point. It's just balance on throttle, balance on the brakes. If you have any questions specifically for anything that I do in this car that I don't explain, feel free to ask down below. I know I've said that many times, but if you guys have questions about anything rally channel related, let me know down below. I am an open book as far as my knowledge and willingness to communicate with this channel, because I know there's a lot going on. Whether you've been following rally for 10 years or this is the first time you've ever seen a rally video, and if that's true, hey, welcome in. But regardless, I know there's a lot going on. There's only so much I can talk about as the stage is going on. You kind of see me bounce back and forth between keeping up with the calls, talking about what I'm doing, or talking about genuine theory. I go back and forth because there's so much to talk about. So wrapping up that subject, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me. And as we wrap up this stage, we've got a couple more high-speed sections and 2 really important braking zones, and we're going to see how we tackle them. 4 left long opens 150 tells me that we are most likely going to get towards the top of 6th gear here, even on the uphill. 5 right opens and 6 left long definitely confirms that. Into 250 puts the nail in the coffin. This is a high-speed section all the way up the hill, 125 miles an hour, hard on the brakes as we approach. It is an uphill. You can get on the brakes later than you think, turn that car in, almost too slow on the entrance. And again, watch your patience and then straighten out as soon as you can. Now on the downhill, we're probably going to get right back towards the top of 6th gear here. Watching your entrance here into the hairpin left. Again, watch your patience on the brakes. Get the car turned in. 1 corner to go to round out the weekend and power it out. We'll see how we did as soon as we cross the line. But that is the end of Germany and the end of the first rally of our final Dirt Rally 2 career. 4 seconds, almost 5 seconds clear of the stage leader on that one.
Stage was tough, but it felt fast.
And unfortunately, not coming away with the win. Now, I will say we did win a couple of the stages that we didn't do on screen. You'll just have to take my word for that. But Ed McCain, almost 2 seconds quicker than us once again. Really on it this weekend. Pretty much an entire minute ahead of us. But that is still good for 2nd place in the rally, and we will most definitely take that. Only 3 points behind Ed McCain. And if that is the pace that he is going to set the entire championship, we have got our work cut out for us. But $214,000 is more than enough to make us feel a little bit more okay about only getting 2nd place. And engine mapping 3 already at our disposal. I think we have everything in our hands to make this a genuine fight for the championship. 1st place in Germany. Up next, Poland. High speed, long stages, dirt and tarmac sections. It's a doozy, but we will be there stronger than ever. I promise you. This is the end of the video. I appreciate all of you guys who made it to the end. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the length of some of these episodes. As I'm sure you know, we cut out quite a few stages here. Only 5 commentated, 1 non-commentated out of 14 stages. So, y'all let me know. If y'all want to see more stages, the videos can be longer. I have no problem with that. But let me know if you guys like the 45-minute-ish layout or you want to see as much of the action as possible. I left this at the end of the video because those that watch all the way to the end have a special place in my heart, and I value y'all's input the most because y'all watch the entire thing. So, thank you guys so much for sticking around. If you did enjoy the video, please feel free to heel-toe that like and subscribe combo. And if you have any questions for the series ahead or anything at all, let me know down below. And if you made it all the way to the end, go ahead and give me a let's go front-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive ain't that bad. Something like that to let me know you made it to the end, and I'll make sure to show you some love in the comments. I'm CD Racing. Welcome to the final season of our Dirt Rally 2 career. And as always, I will see you in the next one.